It is becoming rarer and rarer to find a game that allows you and a buddy or two to play side by side on the couch. However, while split-screen multiplayer may be becoming a thing of the past, for the time being, you can still find a game here or there that features it, even on the newest consoles like the Xbox Series X and S. There are a ton of great co-op games on the Xbox, with many of them offering satisfying storylines to beat with a friend. However, if you're looking to share a bevy with a friend while shooting aliens or rekindle a failing relationship with your partner in the game, of course, then these split-screen multiplayer titles are for you. As you can probably guess from a game with Hot Wheels in the title, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged is a racing game. The inspiration from the toy car brand is mainly felt in the game's tracks. You don't race around large stadiums filled with screaming fans, as that isn't what Hot Wheels do. So the game's tracks are set in everyday locations, such as the backyard and an arcade. This helps the title stand out from more traditional racing games. Of course, standing out wouldn't mean much if the game wasn't brilliant. Thankfully, the racing feels smooth and fast, and the graphics are very impressive. Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the biggest and most highly regarded RPGs in recent history, and it just so happens that you can experience the entire adventure in local co-op. Together, you will be meeting interesting characters, making important choices, and taking part in clever turn-based battles that reward strategy and clever thinking. This is all in service of your customizable protagonist, attempting to remove the parasite embedded within them, or at least that's the setup of the story. Things quickly go much deeper in both the main quests and side adventures. Like in the original game, in Goat Simulator 3, you and your friends each control a goat as you're set free in a large open world environment. While there, you're encouraged to create as much havoc as possible, but you should also do some exploring. You can play mini games against your friends too, so there is plenty to do in this unusual game. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War isn't a complete split-screen game, as several modes don't include the feature, yet the FPS title does allow you to split your screen and invite a buddy onto the couch for its famous zombie mode. Zombies have been a part of the series for many years now, yet Black Ops Cold War offers one of the best ever versions of the mode. The core concept is the same, as you're tasked with surviving hordes of undead. Fortnite doesn't need much introduction, since it's one of the most famous games on the planet. It has been a free-to-play marvel and has really helped popularize the Battle Royale genre, and you can experience it with someone next to you, as the game offers split screen. When adding another player on the same console, you have to stick to the main modes, such as duos and squads, but there aren't many other limitations, as you and a friend can enter the arena together and try to be the last crew standing. Racing games have always been great for local multiplayer fun. If you're looking for a simulation racing experience, then F1 23 might be the game for you. As the title suggests, the game is all about Formula One, meaning those are the cars you will be racing with. In split screen, you can race against one another or actually team up. While teaming up, you both get separate cars, but you're technically on the same team, like in real life F1. In Stardew Valley, you inherit your grandfather's old rundown farm. Your goal is to build it back and make it prosperous again. Yet, you don't have to work hard on your farm every day, as you're given plenty of freedom in regard to gameplay. You can also fish, mine, talk to locals, or do anything else you desire in the town of Stardew Valley. The game also allows you to invite friends along for the ride. They serve as farmhands that share the plot of land with you. Together, you can make the best farm possible. Dirt 5 is among the best racing games you will find on the Xbox Series X and S. It's more of an arcade racer than its predecessors in terms of racing mechanics. That being said, the game looks as realistic as the average simulation title, so it's a bit of a blend of those subgenres. Another way it's different from many big racing games on the market is that it primarily focuses on off-road racing. Therefore, the vehicle list is filled primarily with buggies, muscle cars, and trucks. Terraria is a 2D creative sandbox game where you can build, mine, explore, and fight dangerous creatures. There is no real goal or objective to the game. You just live the life you want to live in this adorable looking world. And you can live that life with others since the game offers split screen play. While with a friend, you can explore and build together. Alternatively, if you're not a cooperative player, you can take a PvP approach and battle your split screen buddy. No screen cheating though. Like most survival games, ARK Survival Evolved tasks you with managing things like your thirst and hunger, yet the situation is a bit more dire in this title as the world you're roaming around is filled with dinosaurs. So, along with keeping up with your general needs, you also need to make sure you're not taken out by a giant creature. Surviving what is clearly a perilous situation is made a bit easier if you have a friend by your side, as the two of you can take on the dangers together. The inclusion of co-op makes this enjoyable and unique survival game even better. Some of the best Xbox co-op experiences ever have come from the Gears of War series. Gears 5 in particular is a wonderful co-op third-person cover shooter. It supports 3-player split-screen play, with 2 playing as soldiers while 1 controls a supporting robot. The campaign revolves around the protagonist, Kate Diaz, who attempts to figure out her mysterious past. Meanwhile, humanity is amid a war with the dangerous swarm creatures. It's a story that is impressively well written, according to reviewer Brandon McIntyre. Yet equally enjoyable are some of the other modes, such as Horde, which tasks you with surviving waves of enemies. This mode can also be played in co-op. The remaster of the first 2 Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters came out on all the latest platforms. Back when they were originally around in the late 90s to early 2000s, they were seen as some of the greatest skating games ever. This remaster has brought them back in pretty much all their glory as the collection can sound. They still contain excellent soundtracks, eye-kicking tricks, and satisfying skating. They're even more fun when playing in split screen. There are several local multiplayer modes for you to enjoy. You can just have a chill time roaming around in the free skate mode. There isn't a litany of great co-op RPGs, especially those that include split-screen play. That is what is so special about Borderlands 3. As it offers up to 4-player split-screen action. Your group makes up a team of Vault Hunters who are tasked with stopping a pair of evil twins and their wild followers. Each playable character is a different class, meaning they have specific powers using those abilities, and the many guns you find, you must participate in plenty of first-person battles against a host of different enemies, from wild creatures to fanatics armed with rifles. So it's a lot like the previous installments in the series. Destroy All Humans 2. Reprobed is a remake of the second Destroy All Humans title. In it, you control an alien called Crypto who travels around the Earth, causing chaos for the people living there. He does so with his advanced weaponry, inhuman abilities, and impressive spaceship. As the name of the game suggests, destruction is very much the goal in this action-adventure title. And what is the best way to cause as much demolition as possible? Invite a friend to help you, which you can do in 2-player split screen. Human, Fall Flat predates the Xbox Series X and S by several years, but it has since been ported to the console and remains as enjoyable as ever. The game puts all players in control of strange, wobbly people who don't move like traditional humans, and at the start of each level, you're dropped into a unique world. The game doesn't give you an objective marker or map. All you really know is that you need to use your puzzle and platforming skills to make it to the exit. Rocket League blends racing games and football, soccer games together. To put it simply, the title allows you to play football with cars. You use these rocket-powered vehicles to knock a large ball around a pitch and attempt to smash it into your opponent's net. Like in real football, you generally play on a team, and one of your teammates can be a person sitting next to you, as Rocket League allows split screen. The two of you and perhaps a couple of others can face off against another crew online. For many years, the Borderlands games have provided some of the best cooperative shooter experiences in gaming. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is a spin-off to that series. It is similar to Borderlands from a gameplay perspective as it is an FPS with RPG elements. However, Wonderlands differs from the others due to its world. Instead of being set on Pandora or other similar planets, the adventure is primarily set within a fantasy tabletop game. As such, you fight plenty of goblins and other D&D-like creatures. Plus, there are many jokes poking fun at certain tabletop tropes. In fact, it's an overall funny title. Technically, Overcooked All You Can Eat isn't a split-screen game, but it offers local co-op. Plus, it's actually 2 games in one, as the package contains both Overcooked titles. In the main mode of both games, you work together to run a kitchen where you have to fulfill the customer's orders by preparing and cooking their meals. It's not as casual as it sounds, as the orders often come thick and fast, so it can get pretty hectic, especially if you want to achieve 3 stars on each level. There is also a competitive mode where you work against each other. Both modes are chaotic and fun. In Escape Academy, you enroll in the titular school, which is all about training you to become an escape room master. As such, the game sees you enter different locked rooms and complete the puzzles required to get out. The rooms are very varied, so this means you must solve all sorts of different puzzles. And you can do it all with a friend by your side and test the classic theory of 2 heads being better than 1. It isn't just all about puzzles though, as there's several characters around campus to interact with too. The LEGO series has always been commended for including engaging split-screen co-op. Many of you likely have fond childhood memories of whacking one another with lightsabers in the cantina. So it comes as no surprise that TT Games included split-screen multiplayer in LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which knocks the old ones out of the park, as James Troughton says in their review. The ability to play this truly enormous game with a friend is a genuine delight. With 380 characters for you and a friend to choose from and a range of explorable planets, there's a ton to see and do here. Regardless of whether or not you enjoy Star Wars, this hilarious game is sure to keep you entertained for a very long time. It goes without saying that Minecraft should be a staple game for any split-screen fanatic. The sheer amount of content at your fingertips is utterly astounding and frankly made all the more enjoyable with a friend. Building a dirt house just doesn't feel the same when a buddy isn't by your side crafting a wooden door for you. You can get up to all kinds of mischief in Minecraft by building the wildest creations in the overwhelmingly expansive creative mode, or by desperately scaring off a creeper in the incredibly intense survival mode. However, no matter how you approach Minecraft, so long as you do it with a friend, you'll have the time of your life. Made for co-op experiences are often seen as alienating. They have to be played with a friend, so if you and your best bud have just broken up, then tough luck. Fortunately, developer Hazelight Studios took a risk with their prison escape game A Way Out, and it paid off big time. A Way Out is an incredibly innovative game that ensures both players feel useful at all times, regardless of which character you play as. Your role in the story and minute-to-minute gameplay is incredibly important. There are also a ton of fun mini-games to engage in, and you can even start a band with your friend. Although we wouldn't advise taking too long to come up with a name, the police are never too far behind. It Takes Two is a co-op only game that is perfect to play with a friend. This is Hazelight Studios' follow-up title to A Way Out and expands upon its core ideas in a big way. As a result, it easily became one of the best games from 2021 and won a slew of awards. With a poignant story to explore and a range of unique mechanics per character, meaning lots of replay value, there's a lot to experience in It Takes Two. Of course, in typical Hazelight Studios, there are a plethora of mini-games to enjoy too. If you enjoyed A Way Out or are simply looking for a lengthy narrative-focused adventure to play with a friend, then give It Takes Two a go. You won't regret it. The screen isn't technically split while playing through the Quarry with friends, but it is couch co-op. In fact, it offers a rare type of local play where 8 of you can be involved. Each one controls a different character in the story, and you're forced to make choices that could potentially end badly. The said story is about a group of camp counselors working at Hackett's Quarry summer camp. On their last night, they put into a number of life or death situations that involve violent people and supernatural beings. If that sounds like a typical horror movie premise, that isn't a coincidence. After all, it's an experience that fully understands its place in the horror zeitgeist and what habits it must lean into in order to shine. For those seeking an extremely lengthy and in-depth RPG, look no further than Divinity Original Sin 2. This mind-blowingly detailed game allows for unparalleled customization and offers an intriguing narrative to engross yourself in. With riveting turn-based combat, towns, dungeons, and forests to explore, and a whole slew of baddies to defeat, Divinity Original Sin 2 offers one of the most comprehensive RPG experiences ever made. And amazingly, it can all be played with a friend. That is perhaps the most impressive aspect of this game. Like its predecessor, Divinity Original Sin 2 can be played entirely with a friend sharing the same screen. It's an audacious achievement and one that really pays off. There simply aren't many games like it that offer the ability to experience the entire thing with a friend. So if you're in the market for a huge RPG, then you should definitely try out Divinity Original Sin 2. Of course, you cannot talk about expansive open-world RPGs without mentioning the indie gem Outward. This incredibly ambitious indie game likely went under the radar for a lot of players, despite being a truly rewarding experience. Not only does it completely redefine what we've come to know as an RPG, but it also allows you to experience the whole thing and its DLCs with a friend. The difficulty of Outward's combat, coupled with its harsh and unforgiving world, makes trekking through it with a friend that much more of an adventure. There's something immensely satisfying about the camaraderie between two suffering souls. But never fear, Outward isn't unfair, and eventually you'll collect a ton of very cool gear. But until then, enjoy going on a stunning, albeit treacherous, journey with a friend by your side. Cuphead is a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Its gorgeous art style, smooth, exhilarating gameplay, and charismatic cast of bosses make it a wonderfully memorable experience. And while, of course, Cuphead is oodles of fun alone, as the old adage goes, everything is better with a friend. It goes without saying that Cuphead is a ton of fun with a friend. Not only does it make the somewhat tricky game a tad easier, but it also offers the wonderful thrill and excitement you experience when you share something special with a mate. Blasting your way through bosses has truly never felt better. You'd likely be hard-pressed to find someone who owns an Xbox Series X and S and not Halo, the Master Chief Collection. Containing most of the games in the series, the collection offers players the chance to relive or experience for the very first time the world of Halo. As the Halo series is widely considered one of the best FPS games for beginners, this collection is also the perfect way to introduce a friend to video games and play along with them. Thanks to new features and enhanced visuals, this collection also feels as fresh as the latest game in the series. There's simply no reason to pass on this wonderful collection of legendary games, especially if you intend on having a few mates over for a game night. Risk of Rain 2 is a cooperative roguelike game where you're placed on an alien planet. The goal is to survive. This means dealing with a dangerous environment and even more dangerous monsters. You battle and kill these beasts as you loot items that make you more formidable. However, you're not the only one who gets tougher. More powerful creatures keep spawning, making survival even more difficult. It's an enjoyable game to play, and because of its great art style, it's nice to look at too. Have you ever wondered what it is like to be a goat? If so, that's a surprise, as most people have never considered it. Yet, Coffee Stain Studios has made multiple games around the concept, and they happen to be plenty of fun. Goat Simulator Remastered is an updated version of the original game. The visuals have been improved and all of the original DLC. Therefore, it provides plenty of wacky fun for you and some buddies as you all cause chaos in an open world. Have you ever watched Toy Story and wished the toys would start shooting each other? If so, then Hypercharge Unboxed might interest you, as it's a shooter featuring action figures. In the campaign, you and your teammates attempt to protect a power source called the Hypercore from the aptly named Major Evil. To do this, you must fight against the villain's evil forces that, like you, are toys. If you don't want to team up with people, there are also PvP modes to enjoy. All of the modes have you battling in domestic and retail environments, such as on desks and in the garden. This brings uniqueness and charm to the experience.